I'd like to thank everybody for joining us tonight, especially our brand partners out on the East Coast, staying up until 9 p.m. for this call. We appreciate it. We've got a great call tonight, and it's a call that everybody's been waiting for. It's kind of all things CBD. I'm going to start off the call with a medical disclaimer, however, because this is such a controversial topic, a really hot subject. The FDA has made their statement quite clear to those people that are selling CBD that CBD is being sold as a prescription drug, and therefore any company that makes claims to treat, diagnose, alleviate, heal, whatever the wordage is, if we make any medical claims whatsoever to CBD, they will treat us as if we were a drug. And obviously, as a dietary supplement company, we are not compliant with drug laws. So please, for all of our brand partners, as you're talking about the CBD, please avoid those claims just as you would any of our other products. And for our call tonight, this is a scientific advisory board call. Our doctors will be quoting clinical studies, perhaps for specific diseases. Those are quotes for clinical studies only coming from a medical doctor, and you may not use those or transcribe those as benefits or claims to yourself or any of your customers. This is for science information only, so please be aware of that. But I would like to start the call by introducing Vasayo CBD1. I'm sure everybody's aware of it right now, but in case you're sharing this call, we are the one and only patented liposomal CBD, and I'm going to go through our 6 major sales points, because what I'm getting is a lot of frequently asked questions about what sets CBD1 apart in this huge industry, or soon to become a huge industry, with hundreds of brands coming out. Why are we the one and only? Why are we CBD1? And I'm going to go down this list for you. I'm going to start off right with the fact that we are organic compliant. That in and of itself will answer a lot of the questions that I get on a daily basis. People ask me all of the time, what is your extraction method? We feel that is proprietary information, and we will not disclose our extraction method. But if you know that we are organic compliant, then the reason why you ask that question will be answered, because people want to know if we're using harmful solvents or extraction methods that could leave residues. The fact that we are organic compliant should answer that question, that we do not use any of those inorganic residues that could build up in your bodies over time. Our second sales point is that we are a non-genetically modified organism, or non-GMO. We do not use GMO hemp. Our third sales point is that CBD1 is a broad spectrum cannabinoid. In other words, it contains 4 of the 5 major classifications of the cannabinoids out there, including CBG, CBN, CBC, and CBD. We are THC free. From the plant to the package, we control and have quality control systems in place, and we are 100% plant to package, made in the USA. And that's quite important to know. Again, it answers a lot of other frequently asked questions that I get. Where does your CBD come from? I believe most people answer this question because they want to know if we're getting our hemp from Malaysia or China or some country that may or may not be compliant with herbicide and pesticide regulations that we have here in the USA. This is plant to package, grown and made in the United States of America. Am I going to tell you what state it is from? No. That would be like you asking me, or me asking you, I guess if you had green beans last night, do you know what state those green beans came from? Is it relevant? No. The fact that we are organic compliant, again, plant to package, made in the USA, non-GMO, should be or be sufficient for your curiosity as to the quality. And then last but not least, we are a liposomal CBD, which means that our absorption rates cannot compare with a non-liposomal CBD. I believe it's quite common knowledge among the CBD industry, and you can even Google it. It's on Wiki when you type in CBD, that CBD is about between 6% and 13% bioavailable to the human body. Vasayo is an advanced delivery technology company, and so we use an advanced delivery technology even in our CBD. We use the liposome technology, which ensures the bioavailability. Finally, we have a patent. We are not patent pending. We are not a proprietary secret formula. We have a patent on our CBD, and that patent specifically states that it is an enhanced bioavailability with an improvement or increase in organoleptics and time released. So I guess if you could find me a CBD that can meet all 6 or 7 of those bullet points, then we can start talking apples to apples. But if you don't have or cannot find a CBD that has all 6 of those bullet points, then, well, that's why we are CBD1. So far, we're the only CBD that I have seen that can claim all 6 of those bullet points. Now, to start off our call tonight, I'm going to have our scientific advisors join in and participate, and I have given them each a topic to speak specifically on, as far as what clinical studies are out there on CBD, why it's beneficial, what's all the hype and buzz behind this ingredient or this specific phytochemical, and how it can benefit us. I'm going to start with Dr. Steve Sabo. Dr. Sabo, are you online?
I am, Tracy.
Great, thank you. I wanted you to speak a little bit tonight on the sleep benefits. I think probably the most frequent or most common benefit that people get from CBD is it helps relax them and allows them to sleep better. Can you touch on that and what studies you found that shows that CBD can actually benefit us?
Sure, Tracy. I'm happy to be here tonight and happy to talk about CBD and sleep. One of the many uses of CBD is for sleep. It's actually been used for many years as a sleep aid. And I found a study from January of this year, January 2019, and they talked a little bit about what Tracy is talking about, that is people who are anxious and sleep. It's CBD in anxiety and sleep. And what they did is they gave a dosage of most patients of 25 milligrams per day. Some actually were increased to 50 and 75 milligrams, and one schizophrenic patient actually was increased because he wasn't responding. They increased it to 175 milligrams. And so what they found here is that there was a significant improvement in both anxiety and sleep over the first month. Over the next 2 months, the last 2 months of the study, they found help in both anxiety and sleep, more sustained in the anxiety group than in the sleep group over those next couple of months. But, it was kind of a small study. I think they had about 74 patients. Other studies, just to touch base on a couple of things, show CBD may help with excessive daytime sleepiness. In other words, it helps people become more alert, and then when they're more alert during the day, they're more apt to sleep at night. Another study showed that CBD appears to increase total sleep time. But some of the issues with these studies is that there were differences in the dosage from study to study. Some actually were upwards of 600 milligrams a day, and it's really not clear from these studies what the optimal dosage is. It's also not clear what type of CBD was being used. I doubt they used liposomal. I think what's going to be needed is more studies with larger groups of patients. And another factor, as I finish up here, is that many people with chronic pain and anxiety issues also suffer from insomnia, and by helping get their pain and anxiety under control, sleep can be improved. So at Vasayo, we're really getting great results with our CBD oil and cream in the short time these products have been released. And I believe that for people with sleep problems, what I recommend is kind of combining our sleep product in conjunction with the CBD oil. And I believe that by putting these two products together, it really potentiates their effects on sleep. So I'm going to send it back to you,
Dr. Fable, you hit that right on the head. CBD has been known and is most commonly used for its ability to increase cellular communication, whether that's via neurons, redox pathways, et cetera, et cetera. And when we have a product that already benefits with sleep, like our melatonin-based product we call Sleep, combining CBD actually just makes it work better, and we're getting a lot of testimonials from brand partners that show that. And though we don't have a clinical study, I was actually really intrigued by the first study that you cited, how they started out with doses as low as 25 milligrams, working on up to 175 milligrams. You can almost guarantee that probably wasn't a liposomal CBD that they were using, and so the results using a liposomal CBD could have potentially been much greater or at a much less dose using something that actually gets delivered instead of something that's only 13% bioavailable, don't you feel?
Yes, I agree with you. I agree.
Yeah, great. All right, thank you, Steve. Dr. Galicia, are you online as well?
Hello, good evening. Yes, I'm here. Good evening.
Great. Thank you. Since you specialize in pain and pain management, I wanted you to touch on the topic of CBD and pain. And, this is where I think CBD is most famous for, especially among, late-stage cancer users. I mean, most people, I think, in the beginning who were getting or filling prescriptions for medical marijuana were citing that they needed it for the pain. And I think this is the greatest potential when it comes to opiate reduction use in this country, where CBD can play a huge role. So tell us a little bit about CBD and pain management.
Yes, thank you. Chronic pain, as we very well know, represents an emerging public health issue of massive proportions, particularly in view of aging populations, plus the fact that people are living longer. Associated facts and figures are really daunting. Can you just imagine, here, just alone here in the United States, chronic pain affects more than 3 million people every single year, and the statistics is grim if we don't do anything about it. It can be treated, hence the introduction of CBD is a welcome addition in the pain care armamentarium. It is fundamentally different from most prescribed painkillers. It is not euphoric, it is not addictive, it is non-toxic, and has very insignificant side effects, if any. In fact, a study posted in Neurotherapeutics revealed that CBD stops the body from absorbing anandamide, which is a compound associated with regulating pain. Therefore, an increased levels of this anandamide in the bloodstream may reduce the amount of pain a person feels or perceives. There have been numerous studies also which demonstrated that CBD may also limit inflammation in the brain and the nervous system, which may then benefit people experiencing pain, insomnia, and certain immune system responses. In fact, there was a study in the European Journal of Pain where they looked at CBD in arthritis pain management, and what they found out that there's a significant reduction in inflammation and signs of pain without additional side effects. Another area of CBD studies in the management of multiple sclerosis-related symptoms. In fact, muscle spasms are one of the most common symptoms of MS. These spasms can be so great and constant in some people that it is so debilitating. One study found that the use of CBD oil could reduce the levels of the spasticity a person can feel. Another double-blind placebo-controlled study, in fact, in 2007, concluded that CBD are effective in treating neuropathic pain or nerve-related pain in multiple sclerosis. In 2014, a study investigated CBD's therapeutic potential in treating chemotherapy-induced neuropathic pain or nerve pain. And the scientists concluded that adjunct treatment with CBD during chemotherapy may be safe and effective in the prevention and attenuation of chemotherapy-induced neuropathic pain. And another study in 2012 also demonstrated that CBD significantly suppresses chronic inflammatory and neuropathic pain without causing tolerance, unlike a lot of other painkillers. There's also a really wonderful study in 2010 that study actually looked at the efficacy and the safety and tolerability of CBD in patients with intractable cancer-related pain. And this study shows that it is efficacious for relief of pain in patients with advanced cancer pain, not fully relieved by strong opioids. CBD has shown effects on sleep architecture, like Steve have mentioned. In pain management, restored sleep is vital in healing and in normal pain processing signals. The studies have shown that people with insomnia or any sleep dysfunction have pain amplification. With CBD, we target both areas. With the war against pain and war against addiction and opioid overdose, we can actually help curb these problems with non-opioid products that would help effectively manage pain. The combination of Renew and CBD actually target different pain processes effectively. I think that's what I could share tonight.
Great. Thank you, Lana. I was particularly interested in that MS study that you quoted. I personally know people that suffer from MS and have had many testimonials from brand partners emailed to me stating how exactly what you said at the very end, how when they were taking Renew, that their pain was somewhat managed and they were able to function quite well, but when they added CBD to their Renew on a daily basis, they're now, different wording from different brand partners, but some have said it has saved their lives. Another one has told me that it has enhanced their quality of life. Another young mother said that she now actually can get down on her hands and knees and roll around and play with her 4-year-old, which was just, so touching to me, that we actually gave this kid her mom back just because of Renew and CBD and those combined benefits. So, I know we're citing a lot of studies, and it may sound uninteresting just to quote studies, but just realize that those studies mean real-life experiences for people. And so, Lana, thank you for sharing that.
Most welcome. Good evening.
Dr. Baker,
yes,
I'm excited to hear what you're going to say because, again, I have read several studies on CBD and what it can do for the cardiovascular system and heart health in general. So why don't you share a little bit about what you've learned regarding that topic?
Well, thank you, Tracy, and I appreciate the opportunity to discuss about cardiovascular benefits of CBD because cardiovascular disease is certainly a special interest of mine. Cardiovascular disease is a leading cause of death, really, here in America in both men and women. There were over 610,000 deaths last year from cardiovascular events. There's accumulating evidence, really, that suggests CBD is beneficial to our cardiovascular health, and this is usually, in general, from three different ways. It decreases inflammation, it decreases blood pressure, particularly systolic, and it minimizes arrhythmias or irregular beating of the heart. There are multiple articles in PubMed.gov, Tracy, that show CBD has direct actions on the arterial wall, causing vasorelaxation or vasodilation. It also increases nitric oxide, which is a very important molecule. It's a buzzword in medicine right now because it helps protect us from plaquing of our arteries. The National Institute of Health actually showed, and they sort of elaborated further on that and said that CBD may also reduce cardiac fibrosis, which is scarring after a heart attack. Cell death and inflammation seem to be decreased. And it seemed to decrease muscle dysfunction after heart attacks. That, to me, was very important because what debilitates most people after heart attacks is congestive heart failure. So that was an amazing benefit that I read. CBD has also been shown to decrease heart attack size, or basically the area of damage of the heart muscle, again, decreasing maybe that risk of congestive heart failure. CBD has also been shown to decrease inflammation in the heart muscle brought on by things like viruses, medications, autoimmune diseases, which I've seen all of these. It's also very important to note that it's been shown to decrease abnormal cardiovascular responses to stress. It's now considered, stress is, to be a risk factor for heart attack and stroke. So very important that it seems to be showing some benefit at reducing those issues. Another way that CBD has been shown to help the heart is in its antiarrhythmic effects. As I mentioned, that's irregular or extra beating of the heart, which can be life-threatening. The British Journal of Pharmacology a couple of years ago showed that especially after having a heart attack, there are definitely fewer arrhythmias if a person's been on CBD regularly. There are several studies that have shown CBD's anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, as well as neuroprotective qualities that help make stroke size smaller as well. These are incredible benefits. The University of Shanghai recently did a study that showed CBD may benefit conditions that involve deficiencies in blood flow to the brain, such as strokes, TIAs, which are near strokes, and other vascular diseases. So again, stroke and heart attack seems to benefit. It's also been shown in several randomized studies on healthy people to lower systolic blood pressure, and once again, to help increase that nitric oxide I mentioned earlier in the endothelium, which is very important to our health. As we continue to explore the regular use of CBD and its potential therapeutic effects, really in multiple medical issues, the evidence strongly points toward significant cardiovascular benefits. And I'll end there, Tracy, but just again, thanking you for letting me discuss a very important topic. Anything that seems to help us to decrease cardiovascular disease, I think, is very much worthwhile.
Yeah, for sure. Coronary heart disease is the number one killer in the United States, and I found it particularly interesting when you said that CBD has been shown to be a NOx booster. I remember back when I was really into working out and exercising, our coaches were always touting that we need to increase our nitric oxide levels, not only to protect our heart, but to build healthy muscle mass and improve blood flow. So anybody who's on a regular fitness program where you're kind of pushing your body to the limits, hey, Dr. Baker said it, as a NOx booster, this could be, just as critical to you as taking your multivitamin every day. So thank you, Dr. Baker, for sharing that. Okay. Dr. Snyder has volunteered to tell us a little bit about CBD in regards to anxiety and depression. Again, a huge, huge topic where, again, CBD is widely prescribed. Again, I have close relationships that have benefited tremendously from CBD and the benefits it's given them with anxiety and then battling depression as well. So, Dr. Snyder, can you tell us a little bit about what you've learned regarding CBD and anxiety and depression?
Happy to. Hi, everybody. And Tracy, it's interesting that I am almost embarrassed to state that 3 months ago I knew nothing about the endocannabinoid system and about CBD. So this has been really a lot of fun for me personally because I'm learning a whole new set of neurotransmitters. And I'm going to talk mostly about anxiety, but depression fits right in. And I thought it was interesting because anxiety is much more prevalent than we really think. In fact, if I had to think about one of the benefits, one of the stated benefits of CBD is that it has the potential for treating anxiety. And as most of us know, anxiety is fixation on the future, persistent worrying about an outcome. It's difficulty concentrating, difficulty making decisions, sweating, insomnia, and irrational fears. So I don't know if any of you feel like that, but I know that I feel at least 5 of those almost weekly. So I think all of us struggle with anxiety. In fact, probably the best definition that I heard was persistent, fearful worrying. And I don't know, I know that I grew up in a family where my mother, she used to call it preventive worrying, but she was somebody who really was a worrier. And the problem with anxiety is that it leads to disability. You end up having anxiety and you could fail a test. You end up bombing a speech, or you end up with a poor athletic performance. And I think that's sort of like you get the yips or you choke. It also leads to insomnia, relationship breakdown, and it also increases the suicide risk. So the risk of anxiety, and I think all of us, quite honestly, can relate to the fact that we've all had to deal with anxiety at one time or another. And in the United States, there's a 29% lifetime prevalence, and it's the highest of any mental disorder. So it has a huge social and an economic burden. Now, we know that CBD has known therapeutic properties, and we've all heard of them. They're the anti-pain, they're neuroprotective, anti-convulsant, but we now know that it is actually an anti-anxiety agent with potential to help in a very, very real way. Now, the interesting thing about CBD is that it is well tolerated up to 1,500 milligrams per day. Now, those are huge doses. And the reason I bring it up is because we have to know that what we are taking is safe. And a nutrient, which is like a phytochemical, which is what CBD is really, like Tracy has also always said, it's really concentrated food. So we know that it is very, very safe, and it's very important. Most of the studies showed that you can take up to 1,500 milligrams of this a day, and it's well tolerated without any side effects. Now, it's interesting, the reason why they have found that it happens to be anti-anxiety is because it acts on several different receptors. We know it's the CB1 and the CB2 receptor, but it also specifically acts on one of the serotonin receptors called the 5-HT. Now, why do I bring that up? Well, because most of the antidepressants are actually serotonin release inhibitors, and you may have heard of Zoloft and Prozac. And so the CBD actually interacts with the serotonin receptor to actually stimulate it. So that is possibly one of the possibilities for CBD and the cannabinoids being anti-anxiety as well as anti-depression. The other reason that it has the potential to be antidepressive is there's been fairly good research which shows that inflammation of the brain through the cytokines can actually be one of the causes of depression. Now, the other thing I wanted to say is, why don't we just smoke pot? And a lot of people think, gosh, if CBD is so good, well, you know, you can get this medicinal marijuana, and you can probably legally get marijuana in most states. But the problem with marijuana is that if you take it in high doses, in other words, the THC actually causes anxiety in high doses. The beautiful thing about CBD is it has been shown not to cause anxiety. In other words, a little bit of THC may be helpful, but a lot of THC can actually reverse and actually cause anxiety, which is what we absolutely do not want. The good news about CBD is that you need very, very low doses for it to have an anti-anxiety effect. So that's really very, very important. It also has been shown to be effective in treating post-traumatic stress disorder. And I'm sort of going to close by probably the most interesting thing that I found in my research over the past week was that why do we have this endocannabinoid system? Why do we have all of these receptors? And in fact, I thought to myself when I first started learning, and actually I listened to Tracy teach me about this, is we have these receptors all over our body. Why? I mean, why are they there if we don't really feed it with these phytocannabinoids, things like, CBD oil? Well, the reality is that our body produces endocannabinoids. In fact, we produce them just about every day. And I think Lana actually mentioned that the anandamide is one of the feel-good chemicals that our body produces. And those of you that are runners will know the reason you get that runner's high is because it releases endorphins. And so we actually produce a cannabinoid in our body that actually allows for us to feel good when we run, or when you're, jumping out of an airplane, or you're doing eye surgery. I just do that part in there. But anyway, all of these things create high levels of anandamide. And what they have found is that the CBD actually inhibits the breakdown of our endorphins. And what that means is that you will be allowed to keep that runner's high. In other words, the natural endorphins will stay in our blood level at a higher level for a longer period of time, so we will stay happier longer. And I guess the take-home message to that is you can't be happy and have anxiety at the same time. They really don't mix. So that's where I'm going to end it. Fascinating stuff. There's a lot of research. And, the fact that I did not know anything about this 3 months ago really reflects where we have been in medicine. So the research is yet to come. There is a lot out there, but I'll tell you what, the spigot is just opening up, and it's very, very exciting. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Snyder. And, just like your favorite phytonutrient, curcumin, CBD is now considered one of the most highly studied, currently in study phytochemical out there. It used to be curcumin. I mean, again, thousands of clinical studies on curcumin and its effect on the human body, but CBD will soon surpass curcumin in its clinical studies. So I think we're about to discover probably one of the most widely studied phytochemicals. Mm-hmm.
Don't break my heart.
Sorry, yeah. I'm sorry. I won't. And I know that it will always remain your phytochemical simply because of the color of it, right?
You got it.
Yeah. No, and if I could just relay one message to everyone, just to put on your scientific caps, you guys, phytochemicals truly are amazing. It's one of the reasons that got me involved in the study, in the field of study that I am in, is because our food is incredible. Plants on this planet are incredible. And to think that literally in your backyard could be growing the next cure for cancer just fascinated me in my youth. We don't, the more we learn about these plants, the more we are discovering that we don't know a lot about plants. It's really fun to see Dr. Snyder, Dr. Baker, Dr. Sabo, and Dr. Iglesias learn more and more about phytochemicals as we hold these scientific calls. And I'm so thankful for the work and the time and the effort that they put in to study the ingredients in our products, because it's not their field of medicine. They each have their specialties. But the fact that they take their time to learn about each of these new ingredients shows me that they are true scientists and always open to learning, and I appreciate them very much. But everyone, thank you for participating on the call. I am going to end it just by giving you the 3 most frequently asked questions on CBD1, so that, again, you can share this call with others. These are the most frequently asked questions I get. Number 1, is CBD safe for pregnant or nursing mothers? And as with all of our products, I do have to give you that disclaimer that you should always, if you have a general practitioner or a doctor that you're seeing on a regular basis, you should consult with them before taking any dietary supplement when you're pregnant or nursing. But I have reviewed the clinical studies on the NIH and PubMed, and it shows, just as Dr. Snyder said, that up to 1,500 milligrams of CBD is safe even among pregnant and or nursing mothers. The other most frequently asked question I get, and again, this goes right back to our not being able to make claims, but I get people asking all the time, is CBD good for cancer? This is where I have to say, you need to let your fingers do the walking. If I were diagnosed with cancer, you better believe I'd be studying all about my particular type of cancer and what alternatives are out there, and I would even get second and third opinions before I begin a treatment program with any oncologist. But please search the NIH and PubMed and many, many other websites. Clinicaltrials.gov have an amazing array of clinical studies on CBD and various types of cancers. So I'm not going to be answering this question, whether it comes to me via email, via phone, Facebook Messenger. I cannot give specific disease-related recommendations. You must go ahead and Google and then talk with your practitioner regarding that. And then finally, the last most frequently asked question that I get, it still comes in on a daily basis: how is your CBD extracted, and can you give me the exact milligram amount? My friends, the exact milligram amount of our CBD is written right on the bottle. It is 13 milligrams per dose, and the extraction method we consider proprietary information. Now, our owners may decide to release that information one day, but I can tell you that right now we consider it proprietary, and maybe someday, like I said, we will share that with you. But thank you for participating on this call tonight, everyone. Please share this. It will be available in the app as soon as it is downloaded. And our good friend who does it all, Peter, in the office, gets this prepared and ready and screened to post. Share it because it's a very popular topic. Again, thank you for your time tonight. Good night.